Page 22.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay, we are live. Thank you for joining our Course in Miracles study group here at Undefined Wellness in White River Junction, Vermont, below the Main Street Museum. We are reading through A Course in Miracles. This is the purple copy. It's the complete and annotated edition. It includes a lot of helpful insights that the previously published copies don't include. This one was published in 2021. And yay! So glad you're here. Okay, let me get situated. We will get started. Do, do, do. Okay, I think that's good. If you have any questions, please include them. And I think I'm gonna have to, hold on one second. And voila! Nice. Nice. I just had to shut the window so the train horn didn't come blasting through on your audio. Nice. Okay. Let's open with a little mindful moment. And then bring your attention to your breath if you want to. Get some wiggles out if you want to. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. It's an opportunity for us to come together, to learn together, to share truth, to share the wisdom of love, and allow it to affect our perception. We want these teachings to affect our perception, to change how we see the world so that we have the opportunity to see more clearly, to see ourselves more clearly, to see our brothers and sisters more clearly, with the eyes of forgiveness, with the eyes of total love, seeking only the perfection in all things, because that's all there is. Yay! Okay, we are on page 22 of chapter 1 on Miracle Principle 29. How fun! Yay, Miracle Principle 29. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Earning is emphasized in this sentence. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. So the emphasis on earning here shows me that doing the work of miracles, doing the act of miracles is how you earn your release from fear. It's a trade, right? The more miracles you do, the further you are released from the narrative of fear. And this makes sense because of performing a miracle is performing an act of true love, right? And not true love in the romantic sense, but a true act of unconditional love, seeing yourself clearly, seeing your brother clearly, uh, totally, totally different from the narrative of fear, right? Fear could not be further from a miracle. Right? And so as you're performing miracles, you are earning your release from fear, right? You are working, essentially working your way back out of the the hole that you dug yourself into, right? So the story of fear would dig yourself into this hole, and miracles are your way of climbing out of that hole, right? Of slowly and surely learning over and over again the truth of love, applying over and over again true perception as opposed to what you had overlearned the story of fear before. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. This is not earning in the sense that we're used to, right? The ego would say, "Oh, you have to earn love." right? You have to earn these things. You don't deserve them unless you put the work in. This isn't like that at all. This is simply um, kind of a categorical description, right, of what you receive from doing the work of miracles, right? You are earning your release from fear, uh, both for yourself and for those you share the miracle with, right? Paragraph 2. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. So, revelation or direct communication with God to his sons is a state in which fear has already been completely abolished. There is no fear that exists in the state of revelation, which, as we discussed in the previous principle number 28, revelations induce complete but temporary suspension of doubt and fear, right? Revelation is purely a love experience. These are paragraph 4, sentence 1, and paragraph 5, sentence 2. Revelation is purely a love experience. If it is pure love, there is no room for fear. Very simple. If it is pure love, there is no room for fear. There's no justification for fear. Something is pure love. Something is pure love, there is no room for fear. And here we're hearing a similar thing in a different way. Revelation induces a state, right? So it's a state of mind, essentially, right? In which fear has already been abolished. Already been abolished. Totally over. No fear exists. Completely abolished. Gone. Sentence 2 of paragraph 2. Miracles are thus a means, and revelations are an end. Great. Revelations are the end. They are the end goal. They are the goalpost at the end, right? Miracles, a way of earning release from fear, are the means to the end, right? They are the path you take to get to the goalpost, right? They're the little markers along the way saying, this is how far you are. You are earning your release from fear, right? You are learning that fear is not justified, right? And you are applying that truth by sharing miracles with others, by sharing this truth with them, that you are not afraid, that you are safe and that you are loved, that you are a perfect son of God. Miracles are a means and revelations are an end. Direct communication with God, which is a purely love experience, induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Right? Already been abolished. And you hear this all the time when people talk about, the experience for some folks of experiencing revelation when they are still afraid of God, right? So revelation, a direct communication with God, essentially when you're not ready for it or not prepared for it, when you have no experience with pure love, right? It can be very intense. It can be very scary, right? There's a sense where the voice of the ego, the voice of the belief in separation seems to come in and say, whoa, 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 don't get too close to that. That's super dangerous. That pure love is super dangerous. If you get too close to that, the separate self doesn't exist anymore, right? There is no separate self when you're experiencing direct communication with God. It is a purely love experience. And the separate self is born out of belief in separation, born out of fear, a lie. Belief that you are not safe and have to somehow become safe on your own, right? And so miracles are a way of earning release from fear, right? You're essentially, I like to use the term microdosing. Woohoo! Party time. You're microdosing uh pure love experience. You're microdosing pure love experience, and then you're ready for the big dose of love. Oh, it's so fun. That's so fun. And this is so helpful. It's so helpful to microdose little experiences of pure love where you're seeing yourself and seeing your brothers clearly. Because it does earn your release from fear. It does prepare you to not be afraid. You're essentially doing reps, right? And we have earning here, right? We have this imagination that that word means what you put in is what you get out of something, right? And so if you're earning your muscles by training them, right? Miracles are the way that you are earning your release from fear.
Yeah.
You do not want to be afraid, right? Any voice that says, no, it's better to be afraid because blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
right? That is not you.
Yeah.
Think about it. Do you want to be afraid? Is it comfortable? No.
It's old.
You are totally safe. There is no justification for fear. Totally
That
safe.
microdosing is is very interesting because love, when you ask, and love, when love gives, it is very gentle, very kind, very patient. Doesn't just come at you with everything all at once.
Right.
It's like, here you go, get comfortable,
Yeah.
you know?
There's
Yeah.
no need to overwhelm. There's no pressure. And we notice this in the act of sharing miracles with others as well, right? We're not trying to force anyone to get it at any time, right? Love is so gentle. Love is totally accepting them wherever they are, right? Totally, perfectly accepting them wherever they are. There is no pressure. There's no pressure. There's no earning of love, right?
There's no judgment.
There's no pressure, there's no judgment, pure love.
There was that idea too, with God that is like, oh, if you don't behave a certain way, there's gonna be a judgment. Not everybody's gonna make it. Some people
Right,
are gonna go here, some people are gonna go there.
right.
Nope.
Some people are going to hell.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Because they're bad, guilty, not lovable.
Yeah.
They're not welcome here.
And then they found out that that is not true.
Yeah, there's no judgment.
No.
There's no judgment. Yeah, it's fun. It becomes lighthearted. It
Yeah.
becomes lighthearted. Our interactions with other people become very lighthearted when we see that the purpose of our interactions with other people is to practice pure love, is to share pure love, to share fearlessness. I am not afraid of you. I am not afraid of you, and you are not afraid of me. I have nothing to hide from you, and you have nothing to hide from me. I love you exactly as you are. You need change nothing to deserve or receive my love. Right? And we do have to practice this.
Yeah.
Because we've been practicing for so long. We've learned for so long to fear, to judge, right? Everyone's trying to get something from us. Sometimes people seem to behave kind of condescending or rude or any of these things. And it takes practice. And with practice, it gets easier, just like when you're doing reps at the gym. I'm using all these gym analogies because I just worked out today, so they're fresh. They're really fresh. Uh, they're really fresh. Yeah, it's just like doing reps at anything new that you're learning. If you're just starting to play a new game, the first time you play, probably not going to be your best time. But the more you play, the easier it feels. Is the game actually easier? No, it's just as difficult as it was on day one. It's the same game with the same rules and the same technique that you learned on day one. You just have more experience doing it. So it seems easier. It's just as easy the whole time, right?
The Bible, they call it life. They compare it like a marathon that the Greeks and the Romans used to run. So it's like training. You have to train for it. Yeah.
And the training that you have undergone is training to look at the world through fearful eyes of vulnerability and fear, of guilt and death and um, everyone's out to get each other, right? That's how you've been training, right? And so switching to a whole new training regimen, right? A whole new project with entirely different goals, entirely different structure, right? Entirely different purpose, right? Entirely different end goals. You're on a totally new route, right? You're on the same landscape looking at a different map, realizing that what you were doing before was not a trail. It was fucking bushwhacking. You're in the thorns. You're in the thorns before, right? And this is an opportunity to say, hey, the trail was like right next to you. If you wanted to look at the map, you would see that. If you wanted to look at the map, you would see that. Miracles are a means to an end. Miracles are the trail, right? Miracles are the trail that will get you to the end result that you are looking for, that you actually want, which is to be love and to love others and to love yourself and to see yourself and see them clearly. That's really what you want. You do not want to be afraid. You do not want to make others guilty. You do not want to be ashamed. Any of these things. Great.
It's almost like if people don't know, because there's a lot of people who's like, yeah, but I don't know what true love is, and I don't know how to get there. I never felt that. Actually, it's not true. If you can remember when you were a little kid, you had no judgments, you had no lies, you had no the thought of guilt and judgment. When you go back to that feeling of being that little kid, not judging, not trying to cheat people, not trying to do any of that, that's the feeling. If you can remember how you felt back then. Yeah.
This is similar to what A Course in Miracles talks about in terms of regression, right? So a lot of times we think about regression as if someone is regressing, it's a bad thing. They're going back to old behavior. They're going back to like an old version of themselves that maybe is not ideal or whatever, right? Regression is actually a great thing. We want to return to our true selves. And just like Davide is saying here, there seem to be adopted stories and narratives that we picked up along the way that basically act. You guys have heard from Shrek. This is what I was thinking about how like an ogre has layers like an onion, right? So we have all these stinky onion layers, right? Over who we really are, kind of seeming to hide who we really are, or might be even easier to recognize, seeming to hide the true self in a different body, seeming to hide the true self in someone else, right? We seem to have the impression that they have a personality, that they have a body, that they're a character, there's a character that they play, all of these things, right? And what regression actually is doing, right, is removing some of these layers that we adopted, some of these survival instincts that we adopted that we no longer need when we're on the trail. When you're bushwhacking and running through thorns, you think you need all of these layers to survive. You think you need, it's like somebody with one of those old-timey backpacks with like a pot hanging off of it and jangling and extra shoes and this and that. It's like overstuffed and huge, right? It's the size of their body, right? And then you get on the trail and you realize there's little huts along the way that provide you meals and you don't have to carry all of that stuff. You don't actually need any of it, right? And so you shed your pack, and it takes some time to trust the path. Trust that the path is going to be consistent in getting you to where you want to go, right? So initially it might look like, oh, I put my pot down. I don't need to carry that pot anymore, right? The pot being an analogy for a story that you adopted about who you are that's different than who you really are, right? So initially it might look like, oh, I put a pot down. Oh, I put my extra pair of shoes down. Oh, I had 3 sets of clothes and now I have 2 sets of clothes. Right? All of these things that we're carrying that pile up and put narrative after narrative, story after story, and create these onion layers that hide who we really are. Right? And this shedding process, again, building the trust with the path, right? That you don't have to do it alone, right? And at any time, you can go back to bushwhacking if you want to. You don't have to stay in the hut. You don't have to stay in the cozy, safe, comfortable, love, like you don't have to stay there if you don't want to, right?
Yeah,
You do, I mean, you do want to, you know, but it's fun. It's fun. So when we talk about regression and when we talk about the experience of love, looking at your experience of being a child, right? Could be an opportunity to see that, right? Could be an opportunity to see, oh, I do know what love is. When I was a child, I did not judge anyone. I was just lovey, right? And that might be a great experience, a great reminder for some people, you know? Um,
it's funny in the Bible, they even say that it's, the ones who will inherit the kingdom is the childlike ones.
hmm.
Pretty interesting. So I wonder if it's anything to do with this type of mindset.
Oh yeah, of
Become
course.
innocent like the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come home to your innocence. See your innocence like a child, right? Because everybody is innocent. So there's no, everyone is innocent like a child, right?
Okay, so remember to see yourself innocent.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But the clarity I want to add to this when we're looking at, oh, it's okay. Thank you. Good girl. Good job. Thank you. The clarity I want to add to this is yeah, the Course in Miracles talks about how the meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah.
The meek there shall inherit the earth. Strength is found in gentleness. Right? Strength is found in gentleness. That is where true strength is found, right? And the meek shall inherit the earth, right? Because they are not holding a weapon that could be used against them, right? Love is not a weapon that can be used against yourself. However, it is the perfect quote unquote weapon or shield, right? Against the illusion of fear,
Yeah.
right? However, all of our other defenses that we come up with, all of our other defense techniques and all of these things, right, can be used against us. Any way that we're defending ourselves from someone else, any of these things, can and will be used against us by ourselves. We cannot attack someone else or defend ourselves from someone else without also applying the same thing to ourselves.
Yeah.
Without also making, if we make someone else vulnerable to something that we are using to defend ourselves, we also become vulnerable, you know? Yeah, so the meek shall inherit the earth, yes. Returning to an awareness of our childlike innocence and love. Our childlike innocence, and it really looks like, in real life, what does that look like? Total right? There's kind of a fearlessness to it, right? When you see little kids playing, they might run around, bump themselves. They might feel afraid for a moment, but before you know it, they've forgotten all about it. They laugh again and then they're out to play, right? And that's what our exploration gets to be. That's what this beautiful dream gets to be. Great. Miracles are thus a means and revelations are an end. We follow the path of miracles to get to the goalpost of revelations. Miracles are a means and revelations are an end. Sentence 3. In this sense, they work together. Yay! They work together. Miracles and revelations work together. Miracles support your readiness for revelation, right? Miracles come from willingness to share love, willingness to see clearly. And they support your readiness for direct communication with God. They work together. Miracles do not depend on revelation. Direct communication with God is not necessary for working miracles, for sharing miracles. Revelation is not necessary for sharing miracles. This makes sense, right? We all have the capacity totally built into ourselves to extend love and to share miracles, right? And again, if we are fearful and revelation comes in, oh man, fear is going to twist that right up and wrap it up with a bow and justify fear all the more. Right? Miracles do not depend on revelation. They induce it. Sentence 5. Miracles induce revelation. Again, because they support our fearlessness. They support us returning to our awareness of our safety. They return our identity to its true state of spirit, not fear, not body identification, spirit identification. So fun. Miracles do not depend on revelation, they induce it. They induce it because they help us release ourselves from the fear that we made. Release ourselves from hell. You are quite capable of miracles already, even if you may be still too fearful for revelations. You are quite capable of miracles already, even if you may still be too fearful for revelations. This is exactly what we're talking about before. Miracles earn your release from fear. To work miracles requires a state of fearlessness in the moment, right? To share a miracle, you must not be in a state of fear, right? To be clear, right? Or you are contradicting the miracle that you are sharing. The miracle does not occur if you are fearful, right? But again, it's what we're talking about, like the microdosing, right? You can engage with miracles at, it's like this, again, small dose of fearlessness, right? Small dose of pure love, right? Even if you are too fearful for revelations, even if you are too fearful, right? For, taking the big dose, right?
It's almost like electricity. The item will work if it's at the right voltage or at the right location, of electricity flowing through. So the same thing with the miracles, it'll happen if you're in the right frequency, that positive one, the love one. If you have any fear, if you have any doubt, anything negative, it's like changing the voltage, changing the frequency, changing the channel. And it's like, nope, just
Yeah.
not gonna.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something when we notice it, when we're not miracle minded, it's an opportunity to ask for help if you want to. Say, oh, what you always say, please put me in the positive energy and thank you, you know, and bring it to the truth. Whatever, your true self is miracle minded all the time. Your mind is miracle minded. That's its state of existence, right? So, it's really it's a very gentle returning to the miracle mindedness, right? Very gentle returning. That's a good analogy. That's fun. You are quite capable of miracles already, even if you may be still too fearful for revelations. Revelation will occur after you engage at the visionary level in a process of denying fear. Jesus is sharing, oh, this is how revelation works. Direct communication with God will occur after you engage at the visionary level in a process of denying fear.
What does that mean? At the visionary level.
The visionary level. In A Course in Miracles, and as we've been talking, we understand there's a difference between the physical eyes and the spiritual vision, right? True vision, right? True vision is seeing things clearly, seeing things totally clearly.
Okay.
Right? And if you are seeing things clearly, seeing things with the spiritual eye that looks beyond the form, looks beyond the body, looks beyond all illusion of separation, right? You are seeing no fear. You deny reality to fear. You say, if I am seeing fear, I am not seeing clearly. If I am seeing any fear or any need to defend myself or anything like that, I am not seeing clearly.
You're still leaving the illusion.
Right.
Yeah.
And therefore, all you're doing is putting up essentially a block to yourself to have this communication because you are afraid of the communication, right? It's essentially you're afraid of yourself, right? You're afraid of who you really are because you think, you believe in the false idol you make of yourself. And you think that you are guilty, shameful, bad, wrong, etc., right? Oh, thank you. Nice. Revelation will occur after you engage at the visionary level in a process of denying fear. That's great. And there's no pressure in this, right? There's no pressure involved. It's not saying you're not deserving of revelation. It's not saying you're not deserving. It's saying, hey, you're, you're, while you may be willing, your true readiness is not there.
Yeah.
Right? Your true readiness is not there. You are afraid. You are imagining that you are not safe.
It'll come when you train for
Yeah,
it.
essentially.
Yeah.
And you train for this visionary level of denying fear by doing a lot of little opportunities of denying fear.
Yeah.
Right? Super fun. Super easy. This comes so naturally to us. Right? It is natural for us to be miracle minded. It is natural for us to be safe, to not be afraid. It is natural for us to see beyond form and to see beyond the body. These things come easily to us. right? The difficulty is in essentially you have to learn how to choose this, make this your default choice, right? Um, make miracle mindedness your default choice, right? As opposed to fear being your default choice and miracle mindedness being your special occasion training opportunity, right? Hmm. Paragraph, oh, excuse me. Paragraph 3. Revelation. Wow, what happened? Revelation is intensely personal and it is not translatable into conscious content at all. So, as we discussed before, conscious content, the consciousness, is what is interacting, right? What is essentially only a response mechanism to triggers that are handed to it, right? Consciousness creates nothing on its own. It's just responding. It's a response mechanism, and it's responses are trained, highly trained responses, and you can train it however you want to. You can train it to respond to the what was the words that are used. Do 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 do. Oh man. Yeah, consciousness, sorry. Miracle Principle 28, paragraph 2, sentence 6. Yay. Consciousness is the level which engages in the world and is capable of responding both to external and internal impulses, having no impulses from itself and being primarily a mechanism for inducing response. It can be very wrong. Okay, consciousness is a mechanism, right? Internal or external impulses. And these impulses come from the below conscious or subconscious, right? Which you are free to fill with your whims of the world, right? What's the word? You are free to, yeah, you are free to fill the subconscious, the superficial layer of the subconscious, closest to consciousness, with the impulses of the world, right? And deny yourself access to the miracle layer below, right? The superconscious, right? Or uh essentially like heavenly state, right? Spiritual, the superconscious or above conscious level, right? May also um, provide impulses to the conscious level, the conscious state, right? So when we're looking at this sentence, revelation is intensely personable and is actually not translatable into conscious content at all, right? There is no way of putting it into words. There is no reaction. Oh, all done, thank you. There's no uh reaction mechanism, right? There is no interpretation of revelation that can ever be communicated, that can ever be distilled, right? Revelation is intensely personal and is actually not translatable into conscious content at all. This is why any attempt to describe it in words is usually incomprehensible, even to the writer himself at another time. Even to the writer himself at another time. This is why the book of Revelation is essentially incomprehensible. That's so fun. That's so fun. The book of Jesus is saying, Jesus is telling us the book of Revelation in the Bible is essentially incomprehensible because it is trying to put revelation, purely a love experience that cannot be translatable to conscious content, into a story, into writing to communicate to others. That's so fun.
In that book, um, all these beasts and monsters representing nations and this and that, whatever. But like, it was hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because they didn't talk about it was all metaphors, it was all dreams, it was all like, yeah, like they're very vivid fantasy images. And it's like, what are they talking about? Yeah,
That's so fun.
yeah, that's a hard one.
Great. Paragraph 4. Revelation induces only experience. Only experience. It is a pure love experience, and it is only an experience. This means that it does not induce thought. It does not induce thought. It does not induce interpretation, response, or reaction. It induces experience. It is only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. Again, we're going to come back up here to Miracle Principle 28, paragraph 6, sentence 4. Consciousness is the state which it produces action, though it does not inspire it. Though it does not inspire it. So action is inspired by impulses, internal and external, right? The conscious state is a response mechanism to impulses, right? Consciousness is the state which produces action, right? And here we're back in Miracle Principle 29. Paragraph 4, sentence 2. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. Interpersonal action. In Miracle Principle 28, we got a nice rundown discussing the, when you fill the superficial levels of your subconscious with the impulses of the world, right? Which again is closer to your conscious level, right? So you have these impulses of the world just triggering your conscious level to respond and react all the time. You are blocking yourself to the layer of miracle mindedness. Essentially, that is your true subconscious, right? That is your natural subconscious that you do not choose to fill with the impulses of the world. And in denying yourself access to the miracle level, right? Paragraph 7, sentence 3 of Miracle Principle 28, states, in conscious actions, then, your interpersonal relationships also become superficial, and miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible. Miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible. That's so fun. If that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to do, it's really tough, right? Because then you're sitting in a place where you are guaranteed to be fearful of everyone all the time. You are guaranteed to be fearful of everyone all the time. If miracle-inspired relating becomes impossible, right? If your conscious is responding only to the impulses of the world, Seeing someone clearly becomes impossible. You will not see beyond the body, you will not see beyond the story or the personality. Right? So linking this back, right? So if you deny yourself access to the miracle level, your interpersonal relationships become superficial. You're not relating truly, you're relating only on the level of the world, essentially, right? And then if we come back to principle 29, miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. True interpersonal action, not the superficial interpersonal relating, right? Based on the impulses of the world, right? So essentially, a miracle is able to trigger a miracle impulse to your conscious state, which is where action happens, right? And miracle inspired relating occurs. Right? In the end, we're on sentence 3. In the end, these are more useful. Miracles are more useful than revelation, Jesus says, because of their impersonal nature. Because of their impersonal nature. Great. We are directed to footnote 58. Impersonal here refers to the fact that miracles aren't directed at individuals based on anything personal or specific to them. Miracles disregard all differences between people and see everyone as equally deserving. This is the opposite of the quote unquote selective miracles of Principle 4. Let's go back to Principle 4. Let's do a little review session. Wahoo! Principle 4. Miracles are habits and should be involuntary. Otherwise, they may become undemocratic, meaning they would not be expressing social equality. Selective miracles are dangerous and may destroy the talent. So essentially saying if you're choosing to give miracles to some people but not others based off of your interpretation of them, your preferences, based off of some traits that they have or don't have, whatever, um, it yes, you're still sharing a miracle, but it's interpreted again through the lens of the ego, through the lens of the impulses of the world, right? So it's a miscreation essentially, right? When they are directed undemocratically, right? They should be involuntary habits, right? They're so natural, you don't even have to try and make them happen, right? Selective miracles are dangerous. That's so fun. Dangerous here doesn't actually mean anything bad is going to happen, right? Specifically talking about may destroy the talent, right? They are going against the purpose of miracles, right? Selective miracles are doing the opposite of what miracles are here to do. Okay, great. In the end, these are more useful. Miracles are more useful because of their impersonal nature. Let's read this paragraph once over. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. So they trigger action on the conscious level, right? As opposed to experience, right? So only experience versus action. In this phase, in the end, these are more useful because of their impersonal nature, because they are able to be expressed widely, right? Able to be expressed to all. Unconditionally.
To all.
Right. In this phase of learning, we're on sentence 4. In this phase of learning, working miracles is more valuable because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. So we are reminded again, right, that love is gentle and kind. There's no pressure, right? Nothing crazy is going to happen. Freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. Super simple. Miracles are more value in this phase of learning. Miracles are more valuable because, again, they are a way of earning release from fear. They are a way of training, right? And preparing you, right? To go from willing to ready, right? Willing to ready. The experience cannot last. Footnote 59. The experience of revelation cannot last until miracles have prepared us for permanent freedom from fear. A pure love experience is totally temporary unless we are ready for it to be sustainable. Right? If you aren't training running, if you aren't practicing running, and you say, I'm going to go run a marathon, you're going to start running, and that running is not going to be sustained because you have not been practicing sustaining running, right? So again, this is a mind training course, a mind training course. Miracles, therefore, are the essential course of action for everyone. They are the course of action, right? Just like we're talking about before. Miracles are a means and revelation is an end. Miracles are the route you take, right? They are the path, the perfect trail that is constructed, right? For everyone. Nice. That's so fun. Let's read the whole thing again. Yay. Put it all together. Put it all together. Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Again, just to clarify, this is fear that we ourselves adopted and that we are releasing ourselves from, right? Miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Miracles are thus a means, and revelations are an end. In this sense, they work together. Miracles do not depend on revelation, they induce it. You are quite capable of miracles already, even if you may still be too fearful for revelations. Revelation will occur after you engage at the visionary level in a process of denying fear. Revelation is intensely personal and is actually not translatable into conscious content at all. This is why any attempt to describe it in words is usually incomprehensible, even to the writer himself at another time. This is why the book of Revelation is essentially incomprehensible. Revelation induces only experience. Miracles, on the other hand, induce interpersonal action. In the end, these are more useful because of their impersonal nature. In this phase of learning, working miracles is more valuable because freedom from fear cannot be thrust upon you. The experience cannot last. Miracles, therefore, are the essential course of action for everyone. Yay! Miracle Principle 29. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming. We will see you next week, 6 p.m. on Thursday night at Undefined Wellness here in White River Junction, Vermont, below the Main Street Museum, or live on Facebook. And feel free to watch on YouTube, leave any comments, and we'll get a reply for them. Great. Thanks for studying with us. Bye.